So before I even start off doing anything, I sprayed my brush with setting spray. But you can use any type of liquid. Most likely water. Water are the setting spray. So, you know that I'm Jamaican. Um, and from the accent, it kind of gives it away. But yeah, let me just tell you, I'm Jamaican. Um, and I've been learning of like certain things that are like going on in Jamaica at the moment. Like I'm very aware of all of that, and it's crazy. Like it's very sad, and I'm not trying to highlight any like negativity about my country, but it is there, it is present. What is happening in that country, in Jamaica, is real. And although like I'm about promoting tourism for that area, although it doesn't need much promoting, right? Because everyone knows about Jamaica. But yeah, I am about promoting the good of the country. But at the same time, we have to like come to terms that it's not always perfect, and although we want like a booming tourism economy, we have to look at the underlying problems that are taking place in Jamaica outside of the tourism zone. Of like certain countries, so you go on like one of the Canadian websites to search for a certain or a particular country, and on there you see that for Jamaica, if you go in and you type in Jamaica, their travel advisory is kind of talking about state of emergency in Jamaica, right? And we and that's gonna give like a bad impression right off the bat. Bad impression about Jamaica, right? When you go on the website, we don't want to be seen. Oh, there's a state of emergency in certain areas, so be careful, and like we don't want that. All right, but it is happening. And you know what, when people who aren't locals are like, Jamaicans went back home, when you're not that, and you go on the website and you check that, that's gonna give you like a lasting impression of Jamaica, in the sense that it's a violent country. We don't want that, right? So yeah, there is a rise in like, let's say, criminal acts, and we're seeing that happening more often, like high crime rate in certain areas, and young boys are being killed because the authority or the government has to be taking it into their hands, and it's leading to a lot of casualties, right? So as I was saying, like, I'll never understand why people turn to illegal actions as their last resort of survival. I'll never understand, right? Because no matter how bad things are, there's like always a way out. You have to believe that, even though a lot of times we may not see it, we have to kind of believe it, right? So I'll never understand why people put their lives in jeopardy for the fast life. And when you tell yourself that the only way for survival is to do wrong, then you're basically signing your death sentence, or you're signing your life away basically, right? And eventually you learn the hard way. So back to what that means for tourism. But let's say, like, we know that when people want to travel, not a lot of people live like that. And a lot of tourists, they feel protected, right? They don't feel like that affects them because they feel guarded on resorts. So a lot of them don't really let that stop them from doing what they want to do. It's a sad situation, right? Where we see young men who could be enjoying life just waste it, and it just, in a flash, all of that is gone. It's sad, right? And I think it's like, no matter how much we see that, okay, the government is like coming hard, you know, in this situation. They're going very hard, like, to eliminate when you cut crease, you know, just packing colors on top of each other and trying to blend it as smoothly, or trying to blend it as smooth as possible. I don't know, really. I'm not really trying to speak ill of Jamaica, because at the end of the day, Jamaica is a beautiful country that is meant to be visited, and it is meant to be appreciated by the people who visit there, who live there. And so Jamaica is a great country. The issue is the things that are happening in it, and the things that are making the country look away, like, you know. So I would just wish that the younger generation could learn from what they're seeing, what's happening right now, and realizing that the fast life is not the great life, it's not the right life for them, you know. It's very hard to find jobs. I get that, like, I understand that, I really do. But I just think we need to try to find, like, a more honest way of living. Don't don't do that to your parents, you know. I feel bad for parents when I see things like that happening in the news. That's what I feel. That's like who I feel it for, the parents. Having to watch their kids just disappear right in front of their eyes. Just their lives just, like, there's all hope that they had for them, it's just gone right in front of them. All of that happened right in front of them. If people are going to do things and they're going to act ways regardless, they're going to do things regardless of who it hurts. They're not really thinking about, like, is, like, what I'm doing, am I hurting someone, am I affecting someone? Some people just, they don't have time to think like that, so just go ahead and they do whatever. So guys, one thing I want to say, in just like mentioning that briefly, is that in life we should not dwell on the negatives either. Like, while we need to know about it, we do, because for a lot of people, you don't want them going into a country unaware of like stuff like this. That, you don't want them unaware that things like this are actually happening in the country that they're traveling to. But I just want to say, like, let's not dwell on the negative, right? Let's not, because there's so much good about Jamaica. There's so much good, you know. In anywhere, any other place in the world, you know that there are issues there as well. You know, anywhere else, there are issues. Alright, so and you're gonna find a lot of countries having travel advisories and whatnot, you know, and it's not always just gonna be about a flu, even though a flu is just as bad. It's not just always going to be about a flu, you know. There's going to be political unrest, state of emergency, those type of stuff. And even though a lot of people know about this, they still travel, you know, because they know what they want and they go for it. I'm so sure, I'm very, very sure that right about now, there are so many people not really looking at that, just concerned about wanting to go home, and they're not focused on like the negatives, and they're not focused on like because they have family there, they have stuff that they need to take care of. Right about now in Jamaica, people aren't following quarantine rules. You know, as soon as they get there, they they barely even get home before you see them like out at some river, beach, or dance. That's what's happening right now, actually, and it's sad. You know that they don't even respect what the government has put out there, so they're just doing their own thing. You know, and it's so sad. And that's putting a lot of people's life in danger. I mean, the sickness, it's not, it has been causing death, but it's not like deadly to the healthy. Let's say that. But at the same time, we can't go around doing that. Anyways, so they're not following the rules. They're also popping up in videos and pictures, and you know uh being out. They're like actually out, and they're putting up pictures on like social media and whatnot, and we can see it. The I'm not sure if the government wants to see it there, but we can see it on social media. And if we're keeping up with someone, like, we know that, okay, they were just in another country, and now they're there, and they're not quarantining, right? And they're letting us know, and it's like, okay, so you're trying to get a fine. It seems like you're trying to get a fine, and it seems like you want to help the country by giving the government the fine. Like, you want to pay a fine, because it's like, it's the people with money. It's like they don't really care, and they're just showing it that they're like, okay, I'm out partying because I'm rich, I can do what I want. Yeah, they're not really focusing on the country. They're more about their needs and or wanting to just be in the public. And that's just sad. You know, it's so sad that you're not thinking about the people that you're around. You know? I mean, don't get me wrong, like I probably would go to Jamaica too and not want to stay home, like, cause I went there, I'm traveling there to go out, to get sunshine, to do all of that. But at the same time, why are you going to put people's life at risk just because of, like, for yourself, for your need? You're trying to create that smudge. Ugh, but it's always so hard for me, you know. Not really good at it. Like, there are techniques to everything. Sometimes you don't have the technique down, but you yourself, you don't have a particular technique. You just go and do whatever. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it's a mascara, and this is Makeup Forever in the color black. It's called Smokey Extravagant. So I went ahead and I add like a little few curls